Now, we are having a question which tests about the knowledge of prime numbers and composite numbers. We are being asked, explain why 111 is not a prime number. Guys, what is the concept of prime number? What comes to your mind when I say the word prime number? The very first prime number or the smallest prime number is 2. That is known to us, followed by 3, then 5, then 7, then 11, 13, 17, 19 and so on. So what is the reason behind these numbers to be prime? We know that a number which has only 2 factors, specifically 1 and the number itself, are known as prime numbers, isn't it? So prime numbers are only those which have only 2 factors. So here if we talk about 111, to check whether it's a prime number or not, we will have to find out its factors. So if it has only 2 factors, we'll say that it is a prime number. If it has more than that, we will say that it's a composite number or not a prime number. So now 111, we know that if I write factors of 111, right? So we know that factors of 111 will definitely contain 1 because 1 is the factor of all the numbers. Now to check whether 2 is its factor, no, it's an odd number, 2 is not. Let us check whether 3 is its factor or not. To check the divisibility of 3, we simply add the digits. If the sum is divisible by 3, the whole number is also divisible by 3. So 1 plus 1 plus 1, that results into 3, and 3 is definitely divisible by 3. So we have a factor 3 here as well, followed by any other factor. Definitely when 111 is divided by 3, we are going to get 37. So 37 is another factor, and after that we have 111 itself. So what I see over here, that this 111 has how many factors, guys? Yes, you are right. It has 4 factors. So definitely it isn't prime, right? Because a prime is that which has only 2 factors. So let us write a statement for this. As a prime number can have only 2 factors and 111 has 4 factors in total, thus 111 is not a prime number. Isn't it, guys? This much explanation is enough. You can even mold it in your only terms or in your words, that you can write, since the prime number has only 2 factors here, then you can write factors of 111 to be 1, 3, 37 and 111 itself, and since there are more than 2 factors, it doesn't qualify for being a prime number, right? I hope this is also clear. There is a part B of this question as well. Have a look. Find a prime number between 110 and 120. Guys, we are now being asked about finding a prime number which lies between 110 and 120. We will use the same logic. What is our logic? That the number which will have only 2 factors will qualify for being a prime number. So first of all, what are the numbers lying between 110 and 120? Let us list them down. Let us first of all write them. The very first number after 110 will be, or since it's between this, so we will include 110 as well, followed by 111, then 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, and at last 120, right? So between 110 and 120, we have only these 9 numbers. So let us erase this, we cannot include them. Now, what are the factors of 11? We just have told that 111 is not a prime. It will have 4 factors, right? How many factors does it have? 1, 3, 37 and 111 itself. If we talk about 112, it's an even number for sure, will have at least 3. I'll just write 1, 2 and 112 itself, it's more than 12, more than 3. But when I talk about this 113 guys, 113 has one factor 1 and the other factor is 113 itself. Because when I try to think about 3 won't divide 113 completely because the sum of 1 and 3 is 5, not divisible by 3. 4 won't divide it for sure. 5 won't divide it. 6 won't divide it. 7, yes, 7 doesn't divide it as well. 8 won't divide it. 9 also doesn't divide it. And if we keep on looking for a number which can divide 113, is the number 113 itself, isn't it? Because if we talk about the other numbers, 114 being an even number will be a composite number, not a prime. 115 we can divide it by 1, 5 for sure, and 115. There might be many more numbers in the middle, but at least 3 we got, so it doesn't qualify for being a prime number. This also 1, 2 and 114. So what I think about is that if we get any extra factor apart from 1 and the number itself, then it's not a prime. So that is the case with 116 as well. 1, 2 and 116. There will be many more factors. If we talk about 117, that's quite a tricky one. Here it is divisible by 1 for sure, and then it is divisible by 3 as well, because 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 7 is 9. So since the sum is divisible by 3, the whole number is also divisible by 3. So this is also not a prime. And when we talk about 118, 1, 2 and 118 as well. If we talk about 119, that could also be a prime number. Let us check. If we talk about it, 1 for sure, and the number itself, is there any number which can divide it? Yes, 7. 7 divides it. If we talk about 7, it will divide it 17 times. So 1, 7, 17 and 119 as well, and there could be more numbers. So what I see, only 113 is that number between 110 to 120 which has only 2 factors, 1 and the number itself. So the answer for this is 113, right? Or we can even write a reason for that, or we can write it in the form of statement. Prime number between 110 and 120 is 113, as it has only 2 factors, right? So I hope this question is again clear to you. Let us move ahead to the next one. Now what is the question? Oh, now it's about the bearing from a point to the another point. What exactly is a bearing, guys? It tells us about the direction and the angle that gets formed, right? So bearing is all about finding the direction and the orientation, right? So if I look at this question, let us select this first of all. What is the figure? The figure here is that there is, this point Q and point P. We have to find the bearing of Q from P. That means we have to find the bearing of this Q from P, right? We have to find it from P. So it has to go like this. And then you have this north direction being made, right? And this is making 39 degrees with the east direction. So the angle is given to us. We have to find out the bearing from Q. So bearing of Q from P, isn't it? So that is what it would look like, right? So here, how do we find bearing? Guys, first of all, please be mindful that the bearing will always lie from 0 degree to 360 degree, it will lie in that region only, and a bearing is always written in 3 digits. So if it is a 2-digit angle, you will write it accommodated with a 0. Like if the bearing is 81 degree or 65 degree, you will write it as 065 degree or 081 degree, isn't it? So that must be very clear to you. Now, as we need to find the bearing of Q from P, we need to do some constructions. Here, if we talk about, let us have a look. Here, this angle is 39, isn't it? This angle is given to us as 39. Can I find out this angle which this, PQ line makes with the north direction? Can we get that? Let us try to find it. We have to find this angle. If I somehow find this angle, my life will become easier to get this angle. So this, as we know, will be 90 degree, isn't it, guys? So if this north and east direction, we know that the direct angle between the two directions is 90 degree. So this is 90 degree. This angle would be how much? This angle would be 90 degree minus 39 degree. What is the difference of 90 degree and 39 degree? It will be equal to 51 degree, isn't it? So I'll write it directly. It is going to be 51 degrees. So if this angle is 51 degree, and let us now extend this part, and if I extend this part here, so this angle also comes out to be 51 degree, isn't it, guys? This angle will also be 51 degree. Now, as we know, I'll first make it clear that what angle do we need to find out. Since we are in need of finding the bearing of Q from P, that will be the angle that this PQ line makes with the north direction in clockwise direction, isn't it? So I need to find out this angle, guys. So to find out this angle, I know that if I extend it like this angle, from here till here is a straight line. So this is going to be 180 degrees, isn't it? And if I get this angle, I'll add this angle with 180 degree to get the full bearing. So that would be, since this angle comes out to be 51, this angle is 51, and since this north will be definitely parallel to north, so QP is treated as a transversal. So this 51 degree and this also comes out to be 51 degree, angles in the same direction or the corresponding angles, isn't it? So let us start doing it. Let us do that. To find the bearing of Q from P, as we have done the construction, what we see is bearing of Q from P, and if we find it out, it is going to be 180 degree plus 51 degree, and that means it is going to be 221. Sorry, this is going to be 231 degrees, right? This is our answer. Bearing of Q from P is equals to 180 degree plus 51 degree, that comes out to be 231 degrees. So I hope this part is clear to you. Whenever you have to solve such bearing questions, the construction part is very important. You need to show that how come we got these angles, and then you show the calculation to write the correct value. So I hope this thing is also clear. You may practice more questions of bearings. Let us move ahead and solve the next one. Okay, now it's about fractions. Without using a calculator, work out 3 whole 1 by 8 minus 1 whole 3 by 4. You must show all your working and give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. Guys, over here we have to operate two mixed numbers. The best way to operate would be to write the mixed numbers as improper fraction and then make their denominators same so that we can add or subtract their numerators. Let us move ahead in that direction only. Here what I see, we have the number 3 whole 1 by 8 minus 1 whole 3 by 4, right? Let us first of all write it in terms of improper fraction. We know how do we do this. 3 whole 1 by 8, I am doing it in rough for you. It is simply going to be the product of this whole number with the denominator added with the numerator upon denominator itself. So 3 times 8 is 24. 24 plus 1 is 25. So that will become 25 by 8. So I'll write it as 25 by 8. Here 1 whole 3 by 5, if I have 1 whole 3 by 5, this 1 will be multiplied with 4 and then will be added with 3 divided by 4 itself. So it is going to be 7 by 4. So here I have minus 7 by 4. Isn't it, guys? Now it's very easy to solve it, as we see that the denominator of the first fraction is 8 and of the second is 4. To make the second denominator 8, I'll have to multiply this minus 7 by 4 with 2 in both numerator and denominator. That will result into 25 by 8 minus 14 by 8, right? This was just for your understanding, not needed to be written over there. And then I'll just put now 25 minus 14, since we have the common denominator now, we will simply operate the numerators. 25 minus 14, that will result into 11. This is 11 by 8, which again happens to be an improper fraction. We will write it in the form of mixed numbers, and I'll just rewind it for you. How do we find a mixed number out of an improper fraction? You divide it, you divide the numerator by denominator. It gets divided only once. I'll subtract 8 and the remainder is 3. So we write it in such a way that the quotient becomes the whole number, the remainder becomes the numerator, and the denominator is same. So the answer is 1 whole 3 by 8. The difference of these two fractions is 1 whole 3 by 8. I'll write it here as well. 1 whole 3 by 8 is our answer. So I hope this fraction part is also clear. These are quite basic things, isn't it? You will easily be able to score marks. But be very mindful about the marks. Since it's of 3 marks, you need to show the working. As the question also says, you must show all your working and give your answer as a mixed number in its simplest form. So I hope this is clear. Should we move ahead? Let's move. Okay, so now we have the next question wherein we need to write 90 as a product of its prime factors. Guys, there are many ways to find out or write a number as the product of its prime factors. You may use prime factorization, you may use factor tree as well. Let us use factor tree, isn't it? I hope you all will agree to me. Let us use 90 and find out its prime factors by factor tree. Here I have 90. To find out the factor tree, I'll divide it by 2 since it's an even number. I'll write it like this. 2 divides it 45 times. And since 2 is a prime, I'll circle it. Now 45 gets divided by 3. How many times? 15 times. So I'll circle 3 being the prime number. 15 will get divided by 3 again 5 times. And both these numbers are primes, isn't it? So I get 90 to be the product of its primes as 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. So this 90 is equals to 2 multiplied with 3, multiplied with 3 again, multiplied with 5. So this implies that 90 is equals to 2 times 3 raised to power 2, as there are 2 3's over here, multiplied with 5. So this is what we have written, 90 as the product of its prime factors. I hope this part is also clear to all of you. This is the very important part, although you need not to highlight it, right? So this is the answer for this. Let us move ahead. So we have question number 10, which is about expanding, which is about, writing algebraic expression in its simplest form. So if we do that, we will simply have to start solving it. Here it is twice of t plus w added with thrice of w minus t. So here you may see that there are some numbers outside the brackets, outside the parenthesis. So if we have to solve it, we will open the parenthesis and the number which is outside of it will be getting multiplied with each term inside, isn't it? Let us do that. It is going to be 2 times t, as 2 will be multiplied with t, added with, since there is a plus sign, 2 times w. Now moving to the next one, plus 3 times w plus 3 times negative t, isn't it? We should include this negative t inside the bracket. Now if we further solve it, 2 times t will be 2t, 2 times w will be 2w, 3 times w will be 3w, and 3 times minus t will be minus 3t, and we know plus minus is eventually minus only, so you may directly write minus 3t. Further, if we solve it, first of all we will collect the like terms together, 2t minus 3t written together, followed by 2w plus 3w. What will be the difference? 2t minus 3t, it is going to be a negative t, and here 2w plus 3w will be 5w. So this is the answer. We have expanded the given expression and simplified it. So I hope this is also clear. We will move ahead with the next question. So yes, let us move ahead now. We need to now solve the next question, that is question number 11. Yes, let us just change the slide and look at this carefully. The two shapes are mathematically similar. Guys, let's have a look at the figure first of all. It looks like an irregular quadrilateral, isn't it? It has 4 sides, but you can see that the top and the bottom of both the quadrilaterals is in type of wavy shape, isn't it? And it is given to us that these two shapes are similar to each other. So whenever this similar mathematical figures comes across, we just need to follow one very important thing, and it should strike to our mind that the ratio of the corresponding sides of the similar figures are same or equal to each other. That means we would be in need of finding the corresponding sides first of all. If we analyze this figure, what I see that there is one larger shape and there is one smaller shape. If we took a look at the larger shape, we see that this, the longer side is 9 centimeter in length, and the shorter side is 6.3 centimeter. But when we talk about this smaller shape, in this smaller shape, this the bigger side is 5 centimeter and the smaller side is not known to us. It happens to be h centimeter. So we need to find the value of h over here. As I told you that we need to find out the corresponding sides. Since these two shapes are similar to each other, we know that when two shapes are similar, we will write the corresponding sides in the ratio and will equate it to each other because they happen to be equal to each other. So yes, let us start doing it. If we look at it, this larger shape has the smaller size as 6.3 centimeter. So we will write 6.3, and the smaller shape has the side as h. So we can write it as 6.3 centimeter upon h centimeter. It is going to be equal to the ratio of the longer sides of both the shapes. And what is the longer side? For the bigger figure, it is 9 centimeter, while for the smaller one, it is 5 centimeter. Isn't it? This is very important, guys. Here, what have we done? Let me explain it to you again. Whenever we have two mathematically similar shapes, we know that the ratio of their corresponding sides is equal to each other. If I want to talk about the corresponding side, this side is corresponding to this one, whereas this side is corresponding to this one. So their ratio must be same. Their ratio will be equal to each other, and with the help of that property, we will find out the remaining side or the remaining h which is supposed to be found out, right? So let us quickly solve it. Here, as we got 6.3 centimeter, h centimeter equals to 9 by 5, let us transpose h to that side and bring 5 over here. Or you can do one very important thing, that this centimeter and centimeter can get cancelled. We can just simply remove it and not write it. Yes, the numbers are enough, right? And we will find out the value of h, and the h will be in centimeters only. So let us transpose it. 5 comes to this side, gets multiplied with 6.3, and this h goes to the other side. Look, what have we done? We have cross multiplied. So h goes over there and gets multiplied with 9. Now further, if I solve it, 6.3 to be multiplied with 5, I am not solving it just right now. Meanwhile, I bring 9 to this side, as 9 will not get multiplied with h. Isn't it? Is this part clear? What have we done? We have cross multiplied the numbers and we are reducing it in such a way that we get the value of h. So further, when we solve it, I see that I can remove this decimal point. If I remove this decimal point, I will have to write a 10 because there was only one decimal place. So a 10 will be dropped down. So this can be rewritten as h equals to 63 times 5 upon 9 times 10, isn't it? Let us quickly solve it. 5 cancels 10 2 times, whereas 9 cancels 63 7 times. So what I see over here, that we are getting h as 7 divided by 2, and when 7 is divided by 2, we are going to get it as 3.5 centimeter, right? So we just got the value of h. H is equal to 3.5 centimeter. That is the value of h, or we can say the remaining side that was not known to us. So I hope this part is clear. We just need to use the concept of the similarity of the shapes, which tells us that the ratio of the corresponding sides of two similar figures is always same. Right? Let us move ahead. We have one more part of this question, that is part B. If we look at part B, let us again look at part B. Here we just got h to be 3.5 centimeter, isn't it? We just have found it. Now the area of the smaller shape, if I talk about this smaller shape, what is its area? The area of the smaller shape is given to us as 16 centimeter square. Right? The area of this smaller shape is given to us as 16 centimeter square. We need to calculate the area of the larger shape. The area of this shape, the larger shape, is unknown to us. Okay? We still have to, use that concept only of the similarity of the shapes. We know that when two shapes are similar, the ratio of their corresponding sides is same. We also know one very important thing, that the ratio of the area of the shapes is equal to the squares of the ratio of the corresponding sides, isn't it? It's very intriguing. Let us have a look. If I say that the area, the ratio of the area, so I can, let us call, this area to be A1 and this area to be A2. Okay, we can take it. So if I say that the ratio of the larger shape's area to the smaller shape's area will be A1 upon A2, what is it equal to? It will be equal to the ratio of the square of its corresponding sides. We just found out that 9 centimeter is corresponding to 5 centimeter. We know this already. So it is going to be the ratio, or I should say the ratio of the squares of the corresponding sides, isn't it? So A1 by A2, that is the area of the larger shape, upon area of the smaller shape, is equal to the square of the ratio of the sides of the corresponding figures. like 9 by 5, square of it, isn't it? So let us quickly put it over there. Do we know A1? No, we have to find it out. Do we know A2? Yes, it is 16 centimeters square, wherein this 9 by 5, or I'll just refrain from writing the units right now, and this 9 by 5 whole square will become 81 upon 25, isn't it? We know that 9 times 9 is 81 and 5 times 5 is 25. Now I'll transpose this 16 on the other side. So 16 gets multiplied with 81, and we will have to divide the product of these two with 25, right? Let us quickly find out what will be the product of 81 and 16. If I multiply 81 and 16 together, 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 8 is 48. 1 multiplied with 1 is 1, and 1 times 8 is 8. So 6, 9, 12. So we are getting 1296. So the product of the numerators comes out as 1296, and this needs to be divided by 25. So that is also we will do quickly. 1296 needs to be divided by 25. So first of all, how many times will it get divided? 129 gets divided by 25. How many times? It will be getting divided 5 times. So we will subtract 125. We are left with 4. We'll drop down this 6, and this will get divided only once. We will subtract 25 from here, and what is going to be left? We are going to be left with 21. 6 minus 5 is 1, 4 minus 2 is 2. I'll put a point over here. I'll make it 210. Now how many times will it get divided? It will get divided 8 times, as 25 times 8 is 200. We are left with a remainder 10, and that remainder 10 can become 100. So it will get divided 4 times. So it is 51.84. So that is what we are getting as the area of the larger shape. So I'll write it here, 51.84 centimeters square. That is the area of the larger shape. Let us write it down, 51.84 centimeters square. As you can see that this question is of 2 marks, so we need to be very careful about the steps that we write. As we know that if we talk about any two similar shapes, the ratio of the area of both the shape will be equal to the ratio of the squares of their corresponding sides, and with that help only we have reduced it to an equation which gives us the value of A1, or the larger shape's area, right? And we got it as 51.84 centimeters square. So I hope this part is also clear. The similarity of shapes is clear to all of us. Let us move ahead. You can note it down for your reference. Let us move ahead now. Now let us look at the next question.